All right, welcome to the weekly meeting, 6:15, halfway through the month. And today, first of all, how was y'all's week? That bad, huh?
Yeah, that bad.
Why is y'all's weeks bad? If y'all had to tell me why y'all's week is so bad, like, do y'all know why y'all having bad weeks?
Chasing around GJ and getting murdered in between.
But why are you chasing GJ?
I don't know. I should have stopped while I was ahead, but
Well, I mean, I have an idea why you have bad weeks.
while I was there.
'Cause
I need to ask.
you said what?
I told Kai she shouldn't even ask.
Well, you're right. She shouldn't ask if she don't want to know. If she want to be in the wilderness for six years. But
I want to know.
if you do want to know, I can tell you what I gather. Um, I don't know how you trade. And I think that has a lot to do with some of your issues. Uh I'm a firm believer that you have to trade a certain way. You either trade zone to zone or you trade smart money. And when you first start trading, it is not interchangeable because there has to be a level of consistency. You can't change the way you're looking at the market. I think that trips people up. Um, if you can see zone to zone and you don't have a problem understanding that way, then that's the way that you should probably take your trades. If you are a smart money trader and you see the market this way, then I don't believe you should be trying to look at the market zone to zone. I think that confuses people. And I think that we have to be like anally disciplined in the way that we approach the market. And I don't think there's a wrong way for you to approach it, but I think that there needs to be a certain way that you approach it. So GJ, for me, um, this is a we can look at GJ. We came into GJ with the expectation that it was going to buy up for it to sell down. The problem that I had with GJ coming into the week is if I fib this red candle, price was already in your golden zone. So if it starts buying up, where is it going? 78, 88. I mean, price goes way up here to the 127 before it even starts pulling back. So if I just looked at this trade setup going into last week without last week's candle, for me, it's not a good setup because I like to buy it back up to the zone and then sell it down. If you are only interested in selling it from the zone, then maybe it's not a horrible setup, but you have to be sure. You've got to be sure that this thing is going to sell. And what do I mean by that? You get a bearish order block, you get a candle that wicks past your moving average but doesn't close, then price climbs. Another wick past your moving average but doesn't close. You finally get a close here. So in my opinion, if I was trading this pair, this would be the order block that I was interested in trading. Now, mind you, I'm still, if I took this trade, we wicked the high, I could have entered, I can see entering here and protecting this high, and you're still probably going to lose this position because I think it went higher. But there you go. So once it wicked the position and went higher, I'd have been done. I would have been done with GJ. But this candle close is a good candle close, but to me, it ran the course in one candle. That's a 100 pip candle. But I can't trust the damn pair. You get a close, you get ran out the trade. Are you hopping back in up here? Probably not. So to me, this wouldn't have been a great trade. I'd have lost that trade. And it's cool. It's fine to lose trades. But to me, this is why I don't marry a pair. So I'd have took my loss on the chin and I'd have left GJ right in the streets where she belongs. Because I don't have time for that. Especially when there are other trade setups that are a lot better. And here's the kicker. You had to wait till Wednesday in order to get in this sale. Right? There's nothing wrong with that. And it's nothing wrong with losing. But this one loss should have happened to you Thursday on Wednesday night, Thursday on London session, you'd have lost. And hey, you lose trades, you're going to lose trades. But it was a bad setup to start with. You waited till Wednesday. It took you out Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, and you lost that week. You might have been you might have had an attitude, but that's about it. To me, if we can get to a point to where we identify only grade A setups, then I think that you're going to be on the right side of the trade most of the time. And I think there was a few setups, even throughout the week, there were a few setups that looked good. Selena, I take it that you didn't have a good week.
Nope.
What did you trade?
I traded EN, it hit my stop loss. I traded gold, it hit my stop loss. And that was it.
So gold was on the weekly order block?
Nope, gold was the trade you told me to take.
So I told you to take this trade.
Mm-hmm.
Where did I tell you to take the trade to? On this bearish order block?
I have to find it. So
Did when you saw this trade setup, did you like it?
huh?
Did you like the trade setup when you saw it?
Hold on, I need to look at it first.
That tells me that you must not have liked it.
I probably didn't, but that doesn't mean anything if I liked it, because sometimes trades that I like don't work. And
I
so
disagree.
sometimes trades I like do not work. That's a fact for everybody. Every
Yeah.
trade.
Well, I agree. A lot of times you like a trade and it doesn't work. But my point is, if you don't like the setup, you shouldn't take the trade. Because if you're saying you took it because I told you to take it, then that means you didn't like the setup. So which one of the setups? What day was it?
I got in a buy at 2327.89.
What day was it though?
If my trade locker sometimes I had it wrong. The 12th.
So
I know that time is right.
Probably here. What news do we have that day? So you probably gotten this buy, you said 2-3 what, 2-7?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
you had,
2327.
I don't know why you're getting it 2-3, 2-7 on Wednesday or Thursday.
Whatever day the 12th was on.
Yeah, your deal is so maybe it was on this move right here where price came into this order block.
Mm-hmm.
This was Wednesday. I don't remember what news we had Wednesday, so I can't really talk intelligently.
Right.
Let me see about this my FX book.
We had FOMC on Wednesday.
It was what?
We had I think it was FOMC, interest rate.
Interest rates.
And I think it was PPI or CPI, something like that, before interest rate.
Yeah, but I think Wednesday was yeah, it was it was
the CPI or PPI, and then they had FOMC in that.
yeah, then Powell, when Powell
Powell did it.
yeah, because
did
the interest
that.
rates I think were good, and then Powell said what he said
Yeah, he said we're not
drive the
cutting rates anytime soon.
even though those numbers were saying that the economy is stalling out. I get it.
Yeah.
So Bricks is key. So yeah. Okay. So I get it. I understand that. So was that did you get in that trade before or after Powell was talking?
I think I had it was the entry set. All my trades this week I had the
Automatic. Yeah, okay.
yes.
All right. Yeah, that's understandable. The way I normally approach this is if I'm trading before a news event, I'm cool. If the market triggers me during the news event, then I'm cool too. Most of the time, I'll take my L if I lose. But if I get into it, a couple of hours before the news event, then I'm nervous because I never know with 100% accuracy what's going on. But eventually, after Powell lied, after Powell got finished pumping the dollar, it eventually changed courses. So I get it. I get it in that regard. So I think going into the week, we were bullish on the dollar. So, and I get it. I know this is a heavy news week, but if you don't trade the dollar, you could have probably sat out. I liked EU, I liked GU, but I preferred EU because we had already got the negative interest rates for them last week. So we had the bearish order block. I mean, this worked pretty much to the T. It didn't push up as far as I would have liked, but that didn't bother me. That same news release day, it pushed up and then it just collapsed. So to me, this was the easiest trade to take. If you didn't take EU, you could have took NU, you could have took AU. I think they all pretty much did the same thing on Wednesday. And if you didn't trade it Wednesday, you could have traded it like Wednesday night on London shift because that's when you got the lion's share of the tank. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So, anytime you got those heavy news weeks, I get it. You might not have a great week, but as long as you don't like overdo it, I guess if you lose a trade, if you're disciplined enough to take it across the chin, then it is what it is. I think we can all continue to expect the euros to sell because of the interest rates. I think what we also have to pay attention to is when we break these levels of structure. So today was or this week was the close of a 2-week candle. If I'm everybody, I'm fibbing that candle. I'm not just fibbing the weekly candle, but I'm fibbing the 2-week candle to find the pullback area. If you don't trade pullbacks, right? If you're a person who doesn't trade the pullback, you only trade once it gets to your zone and trade away from your zone, I would still fib the 2-week candle. And I would look for the sell when it gets to around the 50 of the 2-week candle, because there's a high likelihood that that's probably the pullback that will be the one that actually triggers from. Does everybody understand that? There might be an inducement level prior to this 50. So on the weekly candle, if it's not as long as this one, maybe you have your 50 down here, and the price might get here and start selling, and you get in the sell and it goes higher. There's no right or wrong way to do it per se, but to avoid the to avoid being the liquidity, I would mark the zones on my higher time frame, and then those are the time frames that I would trade. If you're trading it up and back, it's not as important. And I say that because you're going to build equity as you buy it up. All right, everybody tracking? So I just want to read or go over the 3 things that we need for a good trade setup if you're a smart money trader. You need an order block. You need a displacement candle. That's a candle with an imbalance. You need a break of structure. If you get those 3 things, then there is a very high likelihood that your trade will be successful. If you don't have one of those 3 things, then the likelihood of your trade being successful is going to, not be very high. Uh, 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 let's talk about. Let's look at it because I know some people maybe that might not be saying anything. Did y'all look at the order blocks for this week? Y'all didn't. All righty. All right, let's look at oil and let's look at EN, because there's some issues. Some of y'all trading oil. Who's trading oil? Kai?
No, I'm not in oil. I didn't look at oil.
Okay, that's good.
Bears.
Oil has a bullish weekly order block. My issue with oil is when I go to the 2-week, it tapped into a bearish 2-week order block. Not trading it. Wouldn't trade it. This would be a hard pass for me. I would let oil figure itself out, and I would get with oil at some other point. All right, EN. So on EN, we pushed down, we challenged the low. We didn't quite break this low, but you got a nice healthy 2-week candle that traveled about 300 pips. On your weekly, you got your nice size bearish order block. We got no wick on the top of the candle. All of these are great reasons to expect this thing to buy up. Again, if you don't trade it both ways, don't trade it both ways. But if you do trade it both ways, then you're at least going to get a reaction from this level. All right. Because if I look at this order block right here, we needed 3 good things for a trade setup, right? We needed an order block. We needed
Balance and broke structure.
we needed imbalance from here to here. What'd you say?
No, I just remember the 3 things.
So what's the 3 things?
Order block, imbalance, and break the structure.
I like
¿Es
it.
verdad?
It's better than that.
Okay.
There's your order block. There's your imbalance. There's your break of structure. When price comes back, you're gonna get a trade from there. Now, I don't know how far this is going to push down, but what smart money says is that you can trade it to these equal lows, right? I would trade it to the body lows if I was taking this trade. But what I don't like about this setup is that we got the order block, we got the imbalance right here. And this also eventually breaks structure, right? But this one breaks structure without a doubt. So what could happen is we can get a push here and get a double bottom, and price could come back higher to this level. So what I'm thinking is we're still going to come to this area. We're going to push down and we'll eventually break this low. This might be towards the end of the month where we get the monthly pullback to this other imbalance, which makes perfect sense to me, right? And also, if you notice on the monthly, we have this order block. We're getting a push down. If we break these lows, there's a break of structure on the monthly. And maybe on the 2-month candle, we could expect the pullback there. I don't want to confuse anybody. I just want to stick to the week and show you that once you do your analysis on this candle, right? Once you fib this candle, on the 4-hour, you see the 3 things that are very clear that to me, this is a obvious trade you're gonna get. You're gonna get a short from this area, right? Because that's where your imbalance is. So that to me is a solid trade setup. Now, for you, you might not look at that as a solid trade setup, but I'm just telling you what works for me. If you go back and you run this back and you back test these trades, you can see what trades work and what trades don't. I think that's a lot of the problem too. However you're trading, you need to either journal or you need to go back and look at these to see what happened, why it's such a great trade setup. So This trade was caught on, I don't even know what day it was, Thursday or Friday, maybe Thursday night. And again, if you don't trade back to the zone, then you would not have caught this trade. But this is a simple setup of an order block. We came into the week with a bullish order block on GBP CAD. I knew it was going to pull back. Didn't know when it was going to pull back. But once I saw price pull back, go up and not break the high, then shoot this order block, I knew it was on the pop. So maybe you don't take this trade because it didn't break your moving average. If you were wait until it broke your moving average, it pulled back Thursday at 1300. This is your entry. And the bottom falls out. 125 right to this imbalance, right? If you're a trader who's just waiting to trade the actual move, then I would anticipate that you'll get that actual move sometime in this coming week. But you could have already had your limit order, and maybe you take a trade from the 66, maybe you only take it from the 78, maybe you take it from the 50. If you took it from the 50, you'd be in the trade in drawdown. But this trade will push back up because you have everything you need. You got your order block, you got your imbalance, you got your break instruction. That trade is going to turn around and push up. But did you trade it? You got the same markup, but did you trade it? So you don't, I'm assuming you don't trade back down, right?
I was gonna buy it,
Well, I get it. That's cool.
but I
But
didn't trade it down though.
so you don't, you're against these 119 pips. Where's your entry at? Down here?
No, I'm not against it. I just wasn't looking at it last week. I marked it up Saturday, yesterday.
No
My
bad.
entry is nope, not 73898.
Okay, so this is your entry. And this thing fell. So it was 150 some pips back to your entry. So I get it. Some people don't trade if you call this counter trend. And I get that. If you're not a counter trend trader, then don't become one on my behalf. But if you can see this move and you understand where it's going, because you have your buy entry down here, like I do, then you can take advantage of that sell move. You don't necessarily have to try to jump it at the top. Maybe you don't believe in it until it crosses over the moving average. Then it pulls back. So if you caught this trade right there where that red line is, then it was a good week for you. And I'm just showing you how you could have caught the trade. Not that you had to take the sale, but it was there for the taking. And we had the order block marked up because this was on the weekly list last week. So I do anticipate taking a buy out of here, and if it gets to the 78, that's cool, but I'll just kind of monitor it as the week starts, and it'll give me a chalk. It'll give me a little turnaround, even if that turnaround is on the 15-minute time frame. It's already pushing down in this imbalance. I got to get the halfway point. That's one thing I didn't do. I didn't look at the halfway. That's probably why your entry is at 189 something. Did you look at halfway, Kai?
I think I fibbed a 4-hour swing. Let me see.
I'm thinking that,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it was a 70 of that last swing.
Okay, cool. So same area, it's a solid trade setup. You know, if you trade both ways, then it was a good catch. All right, this was after Powell ran his mouth set up. All right, we had a order block. We had this imbalance. This did not break structure, but Powell's mouth broke the structure. I saw this pull back into this imbalance, almost perfectly closed the imbalance, and it wicked off. And I knew at this point that price was going to collapse. I know that we had pumped the dollar, Powell had pumped the dollar, and I knew that by us not dropping interest rates and me expecting, I think we talked about that last week too. Either you believe in it or you don't. But we talked last week about the dollar giving us a bullish order block. And I think some of y'all might not believe that, but I believed it. And that's the way that I was looking for the trades to unfold. And on that AU trade, once I saw that tap in on that 4-hour candle, once I saw that tap in and price pull back, I knew we were going south. So if you look, price, all we did was push back down to this level, but it was still a nice trade setup to give you about 90 or 60, 68 pips. I think Bad caught about 90 of them pips. You must have been in very early. You didn't catch 90. I'm gonna have to look. Well, you might have caught 80. But it was a good trade setup, and you could still be in there, to tell the truth. You could still be in this one for the sell. We had a bearish order block, price pushed all the way up. Price is going to continue to push down on this pair. I think it'll continue to push down on all the USD pairs. I think people might have been frightened. That's what it was. That's what it was. Okay, at the end of the day on Wednesday, there were a few trades that did this, that wicked at the end of the day on Wednesday. There's a few trades that took out the highs by wicks. And that's why that's why we was able to enter this trade up here. So, hey, Kimmy, Kimmy is on the call? There were a few trades that we looked at and we had talked about that we talked about the daily wicks. So whenever I saw these trades wick the high, even GJ wicked the high and it should have sold, but she played people. So GJ wicked the high that same day. So anytime you get a wick to wick, I look at price collapsing. And I got that from my boy, ICT in the 2022 mentorship. I don't know what slide, but he talks about this a lot, all right? Anytime the market is ready to go the opposite direction and you see price wick the high, especially if the high is an old wick and then price closes below that wick, you can sell it. Now, in this case, if you had got into this GJ trade, it played you. And I told you I'd have left that hook in the streets after she played me. I would have went and found another chick. But AU didn't play you. And I think it was a few more trades that day. EU is not one of them, but it was a few more trades that day that did the same thing. So a lot of times, if you don't trade the news, if you just wait until after the news, the market is going to set up for you to catch a trade. Either that following London session, or if there's big news on London session, maybe you can catch the trade on the New York session. It just requires a little patience, and probably some perseverance. I think before that market or before that news happened, I thought that the dollar would drop a little bit more. Hey, Leandra,
Hello.
why are you so absurd, obnoxious?
What? I'm just drinking my Starbucks over here.
Your Starbucks. So this is also a wick, and I really thought we get out of Dodge, but this imbalance held up or whatever. This order block held, and it kept us from pushing and reaching our destiny. I really thought after I saw that we would bounce out of there. Did you trade?
Same. I thought we was going to the lows.
Yeah,
to reach for those secondary lows there, but I guess it wasn't. We were staying in that range.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Mm.
I really, if I was I would have bet everything that we was going to at least break this low.
Yep, I thought that too. And once it broke the low from Thursday, I thought, yep, it's definitely going down there. At least to that that order block, that bullish order block that's visible.
Yeah. I agree. And we did that was kind of shocking. But coming into the week, I thought that that we should push to this area. But when the market was bull crapping, and we got all the way to the news, I'm like, well, maybe we're just going to collapse and break maybe one of these lows before we come back up. But I was really kind of maybe not shook, but just surprised that the market traded in such a narrow range.
Yeah, same. But sometimes it does that when it's a FOMC week.
Well, yeah, but normally, okay, if FOMC week doesn't, like if the news doesn't give you a big move, then maybe on that Friday you'll get a major, like people have to think about it or whatever. Maybe the market makers have to.
That's what I was thinking on consumer sentiment. That news at 3:00 on Friday. Normally, it would give the extreme move, and it will either go. I thought it's either going to go bullish and collect, all that liquidity on the buy side and then drop, which it did. It did go bullish, but it didn't go all the way to your 78 area. What is that? That's what was that? 39851. It price didn't reach all the way up there. Like, can you see that? Yeah. So I was surprised about that, but it did reach though for some liquidity. So that was good.
Yeah, I guess.
But it could have gone. I was expecting it to go higher after that though. I thought it was going to go further higher and take the 78, that small trade entry, then drop.
Well,
possibly on next week. I thought it was going to buy up this week and then probably drop next week, but it continues to drop.
So I think, or this is what I will look for. this, to me, this is a chalk. You know, it established highs. We broke those highs. We pulled back. This is a 78 pullback. I would look for price
Yeah.
to push up maybe, and then start pushing back down.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. This area needs to be, this imbalance needs to be mitigated, and I think that price has already shown us that it's going to go lower. And I expect the dollar, because the dollar has a weekly or 2-week order block on it.
Bullish order block or bearish order block?
It's bullish, I believe.
So that means the indices are going down.
Well,
Except for
but
NAS. NAS
dollar-
just seems like it's just
the dollar's
rallying
going to
higher.
pull back first, though. Okay, it's not a 2-week order block, but it's just a bullish candle. So I expect the pullback to this candle, and then I would think that price would probably continue up. We wick these highs. Yeah, I would expect the dollar to pull back before pushing higher. So I think the indices are going to push up before going lower. And yeah, with the exception of NAS.
What does it look like on the 6 month and the
It's
and the monthly? What are we looking like?
6 month is great. The I don't know that we'll reach. I highly doubt we'll reach that area for 6 months. But I think even if we open the next 6 month candle, we would probably go up first before we pull it down, because I really do feel like the dollar is gonna have that massive drop. It's going to give way to the rise of the BRICS nation.
Towards the end of the year.
Year and a half, what's gonna happen to the BRICS nation? Get back rise to the top.
I don't know if it's coming back.
Oh,
Look, this is what I'm talking about. Look at the
this is a fucking idiot.
Sean believes the dollar is going to be the top spot forever.
No, yeah.
It ain't.
Is it entered the imbalance yet? Hasn't entered the imbalance.
The dollar would drop to the -27, which is 60.
Okay. So after
It ain't gonna be a year and a half.
Hello?
huh?
Would you say, Landon?
After it gets down there.
NAS
Huh? You're breaking up. Leandra, if you can hear me, you're breaking up. All right. I don't know if we lost Leandra or she just her connections.
rallied higher all week.
What did you say, Leandra? You're breaking up bad. All right.
Hello? I said that NAS rallied higher all week.
Yeah. So at the end of May, I said we had broke this high, and on that monthly, right, we had ran the high. So I just wanted a retest, which we got the retest. So if you bought it at a small lot, you're over 1,000 points up. So the technology stocks are going to do their own thing. We're not raising interest rates; they ain't coming back. So if you're trading those stocks, then or you trade the NASDAQ, I would look for buys. The Dow Jones is pulling back, but these it's been a straight run to the top side. So, you know, if you're trying to buy NASDAQ, I mean, you might want to wait for it to pull back, like how it pulls back in the week. But if you're waiting for it to pull back to these significant areas, you're probably wasting your time. I'm not buying NASDAQ at the high, but if I decide to trade NASDAQ, it'll be in and out moves because the time to buy it was here when it came back and tapped in. We actually talked about this the first week of June. So if you were a buyer at that point, you're great. And if you weren't, then you can just wait for the US 30 to finish dropping, and you can enact the buy low strategy when the US 30 finishes dropping. Because I think that's probably the best bet if you're trying to buy and hold in the industry. I remember when trading in Ruby's group, there was a few people who used to do that, but I'm still, you know, the US 30 has a long way to go if it's gonna give us a bearish order block. But we'll see. If it goes up first, that'll be 800 points. And we need it to go down another 2,000 after that. I don't know how realistic that is. 2,800 points in the next 2 weeks. But we'll see. We don't know what kind of catastrophic world events that are going to play out in our face. So if you're trading those indexes, trade with caution. All right, we got a lot of 2-week order blocks. EA, EC, EF wasn't an order block. This has been a brutal trade that we had marked up for. I believe that was the monthly. Oh, it was the 3-month order block. This was a 3-month order block that's getting tapped into. How sweet. But you know, if you had your chart marked up and you saw price falling, then you could have caught this illustrious, beauteous move. Shut up. All right, so if you're a counter trender, no, it's only 76 pips. But maybe you are a trend trader. So maybe you wait for price to push back up. There's an order block here, but there's an imbalance. Price will probably come back here before you might get it short again. You might get short. Even if you get short back to the level it is now, And I think it's going to go a bit lower, but if you get short back to this level, it's probably a decent trade setup. I'm looking for price to at least push to here to deal with this imbalance at 194.53. I don't know if you guys follow the news, but I was listening to these clowns here on the news Friday, and even though the CHF dropped its interest rate because of the risk scenarios that are out there, a lot of them are looking at the CHF to get stronger. It all makes sense. It's all every pair is dropping against the CHF. Whatever the narratives are, those are the narratives. But if you look at all the pairs, even the great dollar, they're all dropping against the CHF. So I wouldn't fight it. I would just look for shorts. We broke the structure here. I look for a pullback, and then keep trading these CHF pairs down. Chef JPY should be the opposite. It should be going to the top side, which it is. So as long as the risk scenarios are the way they are now, then CHF is going to go through the roof. Does everybody know what they trading this week? Anybody want to talk about it? Did y'all do y'all's analysis? This, to me, this is a trade of the week right here. Thought? I think this is a trade that Sean gonna take next week. There are a lot of opportunity. Anybody confused? Don't know what they're trading?
I haven't looked at the charts yet, so I don't know.
This is what y'all need to keep up with right here. Hey, y'all know that Saudi Arabia killed the petrodollar, right? Y'all know anything about that? Bueller? Nope. Y'all are killing me, man. Y'all kill me, man. Do y'all know that the dollar used to be backed by gold? Does everybody know that? Y'all know the dollar used to be coupled to gold?
Yes.
Okay, let us have a small conversation. If the dollar is backed or coupled to gold, right? The value of dollar is attached to the value of gold. That the dollar has a finite value. It's valued at this much, right? LP said Nixon uncoupled it. You're exactly right. We took the dollar off the gold standard because somebody got in Nixon's ear and told him we could print a bunch of money if we didn't couple the dollar to gold. And the thing that makes us be able to do that is we're the reserve currency. Everybody has dollars. You know why everybody has dollars? Because if you wanted to buy fuel for your country, you had to do it in dollars. Can't buy fuel in pesos or yuan or rubles or whatever. You just had to buy it in dollars. So the dollar had a job. Like if you didn't have dollars, then you weren't getting your fuel. Now, Saudi Arabia, that was a 50-year agreement. They're not redoing, they didn't renew that agreement. So now, other countries can buy their fuel in their own currency. And since the US has weaponized, your boy Broadway Joe right there weaponized the good old dollar, all these other countries looked around and like, we're not doing that. We're not buying the dollar because they might take our assets. So it's a big deal. Maybe not tomorrow, not next year, maybe, but going forward, the problem that we're going to have as a country is that a lot of these other countries aren't going to deal in dollars. So the need for dollars isn't going to be as high. And, if it doesn't, like if you was married to a rich dude or a rich dude was married to you and one of y'all lost your job, the day that he comes home from work and tells you, or the day you come home from work and tell him, hey, I lost my job, y'all are rich. As long as you stop spending, as long as you curtail your spending, you'll be fine. But I know the United States. She ain't trying to curtail no spending. She's gonna spend more. So I say all that to say, that's exactly why people like Sean and these other internet hoodlums are telling you to buy assets. Worst thing you can do is put your money in your bank account because the value of that money is going to drop and it's not going to keep up with inflation. And depending on how fast the dollar starts to devalue or drop, and you'll see it on the Dixie chart, you'll see it start dropping at some point. That's the value that's your spending power and your wealth if you have it in dollars. But even if the dollar drops, to 60, when you go to the store, it's just going to cost you $10 for a loaf of bread instead of $5. And it'll cost you, $800,000 for that house instead of 300 or 400. So if you own something, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's real estate, something real, then you're not losing your wealth. But if you have it in the bank, you're losing your wealth. You're losing your spending power. So if you're not comfortable with crypto, then I would suggest you buy gold or something, because gold isn't going to lose value. And gold is just going to keep going up because those central banks are buying gold. Silver is probably something you can look at too, because silver is still very much undervalued. It's nowhere near its value. It's trading at $29, which is probably half of what it should be trading at if gold is trading as high as this trading. So if you look at these charts, gold has had a pullback. This cup and handle has gotten out of control. If you look at this chart, if we measure from this pullback to this extension here, we got an 88% pullback. If we trade to the negative 27, it'll be $60. So yeah, it's about half of its half of where it should be. So if y'all believe in fibs and all that stuff, you can do this for any of these crypto, you can do it for whatever. Oil, you can do it for Tesla. You fib from the bottom to the top, you get your pullback to the 78. Now price is starting to push up. All this is the same information. You're just seeing it early, right? You're seeing it early enough. I wish we had saw it down here at the 88, but this was in June 2020. It pushed up. If you fib from here to here, this was probably another 78% pullback. And now we probably came up to the negative 27. In fact, let me see. $62. Or this is 65. And it's not quite to the negative 27. But we'll probably break this high, then pull back again. But to me, these are in a good enough position to where if you can find you an entry, you can start trading this to the top side. Depending on how you look at the market, everybody's not a swing trader. Everybody's not a buy and hold. A lot of y'all want to make moves every week. But if you can find a strategy that could get you into the trade at a favorable spot, maybe you can take the trade north. So this looks like it's pulling back from this up move. So maybe it pulls back to the 65-ish. If it pulls back close to the 78, which would be an imbalance in here, this would be ideal to get in for the buy, which would be awesome. But however you guys come up with a strategy, and I'm not your financial advisor or nothing like that. But if I were you, I would come up with a strategy to buy like assets instead of putting that $200 in your savings account. Buy gold or buy silver. Buy it at a 0.01 lot size. Buy it at a 0.02 lot size. And then next month, when you put your other $200 in your savings account, buy another 0.2. Because this is going to inflate with the deflation of the dollar. This is going to inflate, right? When the dollar loses value, these real assets are going to go up. So if you're against crypto like Bitcoin, or you're against gold, or you're against something else, this is another way you can protect your wallet. And if the unthinkable happens, if we do wake up in the Great Depression, then at least you'll have that $4 million that it costs for that bag of rice and that loaf of bread. Anybody have any questions there at Cheerings? I know y'all are busy people, but man, y'all watch some stuff on the Saudi Arabians decoupling the dollar. It is some history, even if if you don't find it important, it's some history. So when your kid asks you, "Oh, you were alive when they did that," or your grandkid, you can at least speak intelligently about it. These are some of the moves that are going to be in the history books. If I was the US, I'd go in there and just make glass out of a great many nations over there. Let y'all debate about it.
My guess is it's all a big nothing, but
It might be. It would still be a nothing burger when I turn them into glass. So to me, Saudi was emboldened when they went and murdered that dude in their embassy. And now they decode from the dollar. The whole princess, the whole royal family will be toast. Their plane would go down. It would just be a message sent.
couple yourself to something else and be like,
I know, but like they can cover the
you
Bitcoin.
couple all at once. All your debt is in dollars, it's not that easy to run away.
Well, I agree.
Anyway, we'll see that.
Anybody have any questions, comments?